Hi, Katie. Hi, Nikki. Can you hear me okay? Okay, so it's 1:45. There's a couple of other people joining. Lovely Alison. Okay, we had 44 registered, but we've only got 2 on, which is quite interesting. Oh no, here comes some more. They'll probably all come in at the last minute. So we'll just wait a couple of minutes while everybody gets set up. Hi, Alison. Thanks for joining.
Hello, how are you?
All right, thank you. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for joining.
Pleasure. Total pleasure. Always.
Thank you. So just while a few of you are joining, just welcome you in. So as sort of I popped on the promo for this today, I've invited 2 of my lovely current affiliate group here to join, if you have any questions at the end for them, maybe I'll block my ears so you can ask them about their experience. And really the purpose of today is to go for probably 30 minutes. I'm just going to go through an overview of what the affiliate group mentoring is, and then open up the floor for you guys to ask any questions that you may have. So I will get started. So bear with me while I screen share, because I've just done a little slide deck to help keep me on track. And if everybody could keep on mute just until the end, just so that we don't get any feedback, that would be amazing. Okay, so welcome everybody to this little webinar, which hopefully will give you a little insight into me, to who I am, and if you're considering joining this affiliate group mentoring, which for next year, which will be in its third year. So that's why I've put this together today. So welcome everybody. So why did I set this up, and what is this? So I set up my affiliate group mentoring 2 years ago for nutritional therapists and healthcare providers I didn't really feel that there was something like this in the UK that was able to offer practitioners a combination of building on their knowledge base, and really I wanted to encompass being able to support practitioners who have 10 years experience but maybe feel that they haven't kept or that they feel that they want to keep on top of their game as much as possible, or practitioners who are recently qualified, but at the time had kind of qualified and had been studying during COVID. And what that meant was that the physical classroom had been completely taken away from us. And what I began to recognize was that really made a massive impact on our industry's confidence. And it actually made us even more isolated in sort of being able to feel part of a community. And so I wanted to be able to pull together and offer a really comprehensive group that was able to deliver knowledge, really high-class knowledge, and really importantly, practical application that is UK centric, that is within our remit. So I set out to deliver and be able to offer really content-rich education with embedded within that sort of infinite, hopefully, clinical pearls that each lecture or class, whichever way you want to look at that term, that you guys come away with aha moments and light bulbs go off in your brain, and that you can ask questions of each other and of myself and of the guest speakers that we have, so that you can actually learn over the course of the year. We run January through to November, we have August off. So you can learn how to integrate all of these concepts, cement that knowledge, and then be able to really learn how to personalize your treatment plans for your own clients. And so the way that this is set up is that the mentoring group meets every month, twice a month. So there are two webinars each month, and they're always on a Thursday. There are a couple of exceptions, probably only two. So we meet every month, twice a month on a Thursday, 11 till 1, but I generally always go over because I've always got so much content to deliver. And the classes are set up alternating between having what I term as an educational focus and then having a clinical focus. So the clinical focus can be business centric. We talk about how to build your businesses. We have marketeers in. And we also go over your cases. So we talk about your cases and my input, and also the whole group's input on how you can, if you're stuck on a case. So this is sort of the overview. And then I also offer a toolkit, which has got over 200 templates, which is a combination of research papers, done client-ready handouts, that is all in this sort of food plans, etc., that is all in this treasure trove of a portal that you are welcome to put your own logos on, etc. And then, of course, I also have a private Facebook group which I manage, and I'm on there every day to be able to support the questions that come up in between the classes, to be able to support you in that way as well. So it is a very thought through program, and I feel that it offers a very well-rounded combination of giving you a community. It gives you business management ideas and concepts. It gives you clinical learning, and it certainly heightens your practical application and your knowledge. So if you don't know about who I am, my background, I am a nutritional therapist by trade, first of all. And I sort of came out and I trained with, well, initially, actually, I started my training in Australia because I was living there. And then I finished my nutritional therapy training with C&M in London. And then I quite quickly after that began to realize that this was just the beginning of the journey, and that I then came across IFM, and I was involved in their inaugural AFMCP when they very first came to the UK, and that sort of, and I was hooked, and I was on the edge of my seat in those 5 days. And I trotted along to HSBC, took out a loan because there was no other way to be able to get the qualification. And then there were no remote classes, so I had to fly back and forth to the States 7 times to do all of the modules, and qualified as a certified IFM practitioner back in 2016. I also teach, I'm on the alumni for ION, and I teach on their degree program as well. So I am passionate about this industry, about this business, and about education and making it come alive and helping you build your businesses to be able to support all of these clients that the NHS just not is equipped to do. And that when we have the right tools, we can absolutely, we can do that and have very thriving businesses, but be so incredibly rewarding when we feel that we are empowered with the knowledge that we have, and that we're not sat up on our computer till 2 a.m. in the morning writing a treatment plan, because that is what I spent far too much time in my early career doing, and I do not want you guys to be doing that, because the truth of the matter is these clients don't read these plans. I think we do it for our benefit, and it's to help you streamline your business model and feel confident in what you're presenting. So the education component, I want to just go through those elements, in just zoom in on those a little bit for you to give you a taste of what those elements include. So the education element, as I said, they alternate between having an education focus and then a My Clinic focus, but the first couple of months is really going into teaching you not to sound, I don't want to sound that I'm teaching you how to suck eggs, because many of you have been in practice for a long time, but teaching you my mapping system of how to take a case and how to actually mind map in terms of it actually then making your life a lot easier. So, and I give you all of my intake forms, how to mind map a case, timelines, etc. And then we delve into, in incredible detail, a comprehensive, fully understanding a comprehensive blood panel before we get into what I would call the more advanced topics that come on later, sort of after Easter, basically. So we go through interpreting a comprehensive blood chemistry in infinite detail, which Nikki and Alison can testament to. And then I've picked out some of the other sessions. So we have guest speakers. So Dr. Nikki Kay, who I work with a lot, we have a 2-hour session with her on mapping female health across the reproductive years. So we help you how to step through working with PCOS, PMS, PMDD. We talk about hormone testing, the ones that I use, the ones that have their merits, the ones that don't. For example, as I said, we have business sessions as well. So I'm just giving you a little snapshot of all of these from the educational treasure trove. Okay, why on earth should I think about? I know, why do I put such an emphasis on a comprehensive blood pack chemistry at the beginning of the program? Is that not incredibly boring? have you done that at college? I would say that with the greatest of respect, none of the colleges teach this or spend enough time on this gold standard panel that is a treasure trove. It is gold dust information that is inexpensive and that actually can really help you fine-tune your treatment plans for your clients, rather than asking them off the bat to start spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds on functional testing, where if we don't fully understand a comprehensive blood chemistry. And the reason I say that is because there is this concept in medicine, which is the key to having a successful practice. And a comprehensive blood panel gives us the biggest insight in being able to manage this. And it's a concept called metabolic reserve. So when we have this, the body is made up of, as you well know, cells, tissues, organs, and systems. Yeah. And when each of those cells, organs, tissues, and systems are working effectively, we have the ability to have physiological resilience. Why have I got Bart Simpson on the screen? Because the physiological resilience of those systems and organs and tissues being able to adapt to the environment, so having an infection, the cells of the immune system being able to muster an immune response and being able to do what it's designed to do, adapt to that physiological challenge. But then, if there is proper and effective metabolic reserve, then that system should be able to reset itself following a challenge. The issue that the majority of our patients and clients have when they come seek out our help is that they have such poor metabolic reserve that they are sick because they're not able to bounce back with this physiological resilience. So metabolic reserve is essentially made up of what we call buffering systems. And these buffering systems I describe when I'm teaching as like having an internal battery pack. And these buffering systems are made up of all of the systems that you well know about. So our mitochondrial capacity, our antioxidant capacity, our cell membrane and integrity, and our receptor responsiveness, our genetic variants, our digestive system and barriers, our immune system, our neuroendocrine system, our liver and kidney detoxification system. This is our metabolic reserve. And essentially, the best insight and assessment into your patient's metabolic reserve is a comprehensive metabolic blood panel, understanding that. Because the more stressors that your client experiences, which come from inflammatory signals, physical overwhelm, circadian disruption, mental and emotional disruption, metabolic derangement, then this will diminish their metabolic reserve. And the more diminished a patient's metabolic reserve, the greater the symptoms that will start to occur. And so rather than looking at a client that comes in that has got numerous labels, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, perimenopause, insulin resistance, I feel tired all the time, and thinking, oh my goodness, do I run an adrenal stress profile? Do I run a gut test? Where on earth do I start? By properly understanding a comprehensive metabolic blood test, this is the best overall assessment to where to start with your client and to build their metabolic reserve. So I teach each week for the first 7 weeks, we delve really deeply into areas of truly understanding anemia? Can you look at the size, the color, the quantity of a patient's red blood cells and fully understand whether they're microcytic, normocytic, or macrocytic? We look at the electrolytes. We spend 2 hours looking at electrolytes, and it is one of the most favorite lectures, really fully being able to understand what these markers can tell you about somebody, about how metabolically deranged that patient actually is. We look at the immune system actually twice. We have a session on looking at breaking down all of the white blood cells and the differentials, and understanding, really being able to understand what positive and negative acute phase reactants are telling us about where we can help with their client. We look at liver markers, not just around liver health, but what that tells us about mitochondrial health, about adiposity, about detoxification capacity, about environmental toxicity exposure. So essentially, after those 6 weeks, and we've actually gone into each of those areas, that's just a snapshot, then we can actually go from here, where we're looking at somebody's intake forms and timelines and testing that they've done, which is incredibly overwhelming, to really beginning to have a plan that makes sense and gives you a map that in terms of how to actually approach this client, that is flexible and that actually is effective, and that you can guide your clients through. So a well-constructed mind map, and yours will look different to mine, and that's absolutely fine. But the process of the mentorship is that you begin to really start to understand the mechanisms and what systems really need the focus as they marry up to the objectives of the client. In terms of the tools that I offer on the program, this is just a snapshot of the spreadsheet. There is a template where you can input all of the markers from a comprehensive metabolic blood panel, so that you can actually see just at a moment's notice, sort of where they are in the range, and it helps you to store over time your clients' data, and that we're all actually talking the same language. So this is just a snap. But as I mentioned before, there are over 200 templates and documents in a shared treasure trove portal that is listed, that is in subcategories of patient handouts that you can brand yourselves. There are research papers, there are food resources, there are recipe books, which are my recipe books, which you're welcome, they're ebooks to use with your clients. It's just an infinite treasure trove of sort of the last 12 years of my clinical, my clinical work that I'm giving to you to be able to brand and use yourselves in your clinic. We also, in the My Clinic sessions, you have the opportunity to submit your case studies as well. So this is just an example of a case study, and then we talk through it and I sort of present my ideas, what I feel, what are the drivers to what's going on. I help to answer the questions that are posed by you all, give you advice on, it could be what food plan to use, what's the mechanism, what supplements you might want to think about, and but really help you understand the mechanisms of what's actually going on. And then we sort of move into more advanced mapping topic classes on thyroid, autoimmunity, histamine intolerance, different areas around women's health, around SIBO. So feeding into the knowledge that I have learnt, but continue to learn, because you may have seen that I never stop learning. And so these classes that I teach, they have a structure, but I'm always sort of updating the content with new content that I'm learning myself and that I'm challenging myself as well. So you have the benefit of my learning that comes into these classes as well. And then, of course, we have a community, because that is incredibly important part of this cohort. And this is in the way of a private Facebook group. The classes will run on Zoom, because next year they're currently on a platform called Crowdcast, but I'm going to run them on Zoom next year, because I can't see your lovely faces on Crowdcast, and I like to see all your faces, and I just feel it makes for a more being able to chat as I'm teaching as well, which is and that is the way that I teach, is that, you know, I love you to ask questions as I go. And then, but the Facebook group is a private group, and which I moderate, and you can pose your questions. It might be a question about just wanting clarification around a lecture that we've just done, or around an element of a case that you've got, or really anything that you feel that you would like to share, and like my opinion, but also the whole cohorts group. And that really does begin to take its own, it builds a life of its own over the course of the 11 months. And this year we've had a really beautiful combination of practitioners who have got very thriving practices, that have been in practice for 10 years themselves. We've got some newer practitioners. We've got specialists in fertility. We've got people who specialize in GI. We've got practitioners that specialize in women's health, and we have nutritional therapists. We've also got 3 doctors in the group as well. So it makes for a really collaborative sharing of knowledge. There's nothing that we're not open to talk about, because it's a private community. And we're all friends here, and we're all here to support each other. And ultimately, I want you all to succeed. And there is, without doubt, enough business out there for everybody. And I'm there. My role, I see it as your guide, and to help you. That is the community. So, what is the application process for this? So, applications for the 2024 cohort will open for you guys and those that have pre-registered tomorrow. You will receive an email from my wonderful PR manager, who has been by my side for the last 5 years. And it will look like this. So it'll say applications are now open for the 2024 cohort. It will not go out for general launch until Wednesday, okay? But there are only 42 places available. And the reason I cap it at that is because I want to, my pledge to you is that I want to be able to offer you the best of my time. And I want to be able to offer you quality content and my time. So I'm not interested in filling this to the rafters. 42 is a great number. And I'm not interested in really big groups, because you're not going to be able to get the attention that you need. So applications open tomorrow. So you'll get an email, and it will talk you through the application, and you just hit the apply now button. So the process is that you complete an application form. This is just what it looks like on the top of the screen. And that will then come through to an admin email, and I will respond to you within 48 hours and review the submission. and hopefully then you'll be offered a place on the program. And then to secure it, you will then be sent an email with the place, with an offer of a place. And to be able to secure it, you then select which payment terms you wish to choose to confirm your offer. So once you receive the offer of a place, that will be open to you for 48 hours. If we don't hear back from you, then that place will go and we'll offer it to the people on the waiting list. Okay, so and then on receipt of your payment, you'll get the confirmation of a place and you will be welcomed into the tribe. And we start at the end of January. In terms of what the cost of the membership is there are two options. So if we'll go to the bottom first, if you are a student or you have qualified within the last 12 months, you qualify for that particular rate. So if you pay upfront, then it's 1,299, so you save £200, or you can pay over 7 monthly consecutive payments. So that is 256.97, which includes the VAT, 7 times, basically. Or if you fall into the standard, if you've been in practice for over a year, then you can choose to pay one upfront payment of 1,499 plus that, or you can do the 7 again monthly consecutive payments, which is 291.25, which includes the VAT over 7 months. So that is that. And as I alluded to, my commitment to you, hopefully you can hear the passion that I have to doing this, just never stops. I passionately believe that because I am so dedicated to education and this industry, that my learning should never stop. Just because I have a qualification on my wall that says I've gone through IFM certification and that I'm a nutritional therapist, that is not good enough. I need to keep redefining that, and I need to keep challenging myself and learning all of the time. So I'm a member of the British Menopause Society. I attend all of their conferences, and I recently have just committed to being to the A4M fellowship program, which will, all of that information will be you will benefit from next year, because that is another 2 years of advanced sort of degree level learning that you will benefit from as well. So hopefully that's given you a good insight into what you can expect from my mentorship program. Hopefully that's inspired you, and if you have any questions, please raise your hand. And if you would like lovely Nikki and Alison to maybe share their experience, then we can start off with them. Maybe we can do that, and then people can just ask questions from any of us, if that works. So Alison, Nikki, would you like to just sort of share your experience of this year very briefly? I know everyone's got limited time.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely can completely concur with what Tanya said. I mean, I only found out about Tanya because I joined the BANT menopause group last year, I think, or the year before. I didn't actually know about Tanya before then, so sorry,
No,
Tanya.
that's fine.
But I absolutely was really captivated with her teaching style on that BANT 2-day sort of course through the menopause group. And I was just like, I really need to know a little bit more about this. And when I found out she was running this course, I absolutely jumped at the chance. So and honest to God, I cannot rave about this program enough. She is more than absolutely, she's great at replying. She's prompt. Her lectures are really informative. I mean, it's a lot to digest sometimes, you know, being honest. I do need to go back and re-listen to it again. And I think it would be completely unethical of me to say that, oh yeah, I just got that in one lecture, because you won't. You need to go back and back and back. And Alison's nodding as well. But I think as well, I mean, because I think, you know, I've been in practice for nearly 5 years now, and I have probably a lot of confidence issues. And even though you think, oh gosh, going to ask Tanya this question, she's going to think, oh God, you should know that. But she doesn't. She absolutely just is so helpful. She holds your hand, she explains things. She even does like little Loom videos for you. It's not just a one like sentence thing. She goes right into detail. And it's so helpful. I mean, even this week I put something up there and I was like, do you know what? I didn't even consider that as an idea. So, I mean, the learning capacity is just phenomenal. And I feel like I should do this course all over again. Just because I absolutely love the support that she gives. And honest to God, she really is an absolute gem in all ways. She's professional, she's kind, she's friendly, she understands. She never kind of looks down and nose at you and sort of, you know, you should know that kind of thing. She's just the perfect mentor.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Just something to touch on that might have posed a question. You have, of course, all the lectures are recorded. It's all the details are on the website, but all the lectures are recorded. You have access to re-listen to those, and also for a whole other year. So this cohort, Nikki and Alison, have a full another 12 months access to both the portal and all of their lectures that they can go back and listen to again and again and again. So the only thing that closes for them is the Facebook group, which is, so you have unlimited, you have 24 months access to the lectures as well, guys. So thank you so much, Nikki. That's just wonderful. Thank you. And Alison is a fertility specialist. And you've been in practice longer, haven't you, Alison?
Not much longer.
Okay.
I've been in practice for about 6-7 years now. So
Okay.
I still feel like a newbie. I still feel I've got loads to learn. And that is the joy of, I'll be honest, that's the absolute joy of this program. I've chosen to specialize, which is wonderful, and I got to the stage now where I really felt that I needed to deepen my knowledge of some areas that I felt there were things that I should know about and perhaps didn't know about in enough depth. And that's exactly what this mentorship and this year has given me. In terms of the support from Tanya, I can only echo what Nikki said. It is phenomenal. I've done a number of mentorships. The generosity of spirit, the detail, the depth that of care and nurture that we get from Tanya is unbelievable. She laughed at me when I told her what my prices were that I was currently charging for clients, which has also been really, really useful from a business perspective, just to get a different perspective about what I do and, you know, where I sort of place myself, you know, out there, as it were. And it is an incredibly supportive environment. It is brilliant. It really, really, really is. I think the lectures are dense. That I come away from them very often reeling. Frequently, I want to go back and dive back into them again, and I will be doing more of that over the coming year. There are always new things to mine from them, those lectures that I have gone over a second time. And it's great. I really think, I think it's, and actually when I saw the price up there, I was thinking, oh God, that's good value for what I've got.
Thank you. Thank you.
And in fact, and the other thing I should add is, in terms of the toolkits that we're given, there are so many resources. I haven't even looked at half of the resources that Tanya just reeled off then. There is so much stuff there, and the food plans, the clinic templates are brilliant and have really, really cut down on my admin time as well, which has been fantastically useful. And then finally, I think the Facebook group is just something else, because as Nikki was saying, you actually get essays back almost. It's like getting a third year assessment essay back when you're, when you ask a question. So much detail. Frequently we're getting referenced answers. So there really is so much then to allow us to springboard and develop our own practice further. So I sound ridiculously sycophantic, but I mean it. It's really, really good value.
Oh, thank you so much, guys. That really is great. Thank you. If you wouldn't mind just staying on for if people have a couple of minutes, if people have got questions from you, that would be amazing. Does anybody have any questions that they would like to ask? Show their face. Fully understand if you wouldn't like, if you don't want to, but if it's an opportunity for you, if there's a question to ask, please feel free just to come on. Caroline Atkinson, I think you just need to unmute. You need to unmute yourself.
I'm so sorry.
Oh,
yes,
that's great. Perfect.
Sorry.
Hi. Hi. Someone's here. Good.
Yay. I've got a quick question for Nikki and for Alison, and for Tanya as well. Actually, is having done this brilliant you what are you going to go on and do now? Is there like a sort of follow up for we've done the Tanya amazing course? Here's part 2, or you don't know yet?
So I do have an advanced program which is it doesn't start till sort of midway through the year. It just because it allows me the time to be able to breathe with the bigger cohort. So, and it's a much smaller group, and it's much more about case study, and it's basically about case studies. Okay. So there is, and then of course, and then I offer masterclasses, which, sorry if I don't know whether you've been on any of my masterclasses, but I offer I offer masterclasses which these guys are welcome to join with at a discounted rate and be able to sort of really delve into a deeper group. So there is the opportunity to have smaller sort of group kind of cohorts to continue that support and that mentorship. So I don't just sort of fling you out into the wilderness, and I feel it's very much sort of part of an ongoing community. So from last year's cohort, yes, I'm doing that as well. So yeah. Fantastic. And a couple of people have actually redone the year and have kind of joined it again because they just feel that because they want to do that again. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the scary thing is once you've had Tanya's experience and support over the year, it's almost like now I'm coming to an end. I don't want this support to end, so I will be very much interested in moving forward with the next part of Tanya's, because the information I cannot put it into words. The information and the care and the support that you get, especially for somebody like myself, I will hold my hands up. I'm probably, I am a little bit unconfident. I think I'm probably more unconfident, than I really give myself credit for. I should be, but I just think, yes, she just really illuminates things for you, makes it really easy to understand. And, if you, whatever stage of business you're at, you're just going to completely benefit, because let's say, like Alison was saying, the price is phenomenally great value. I just, hands down, anybody considering this course, I would just do it, because you're never ever going to regret this. The level of information that you get from this is phenomenal, and the support and the group's really nice as well. Everybody's
a
really
lovely group each year.
Yeah,
it's a really lovely group. It's there's no agenda, there's no one-upmanship. I've been on courses before, which I'm sure all you have, and you see the chatter down the side and you're like, oh, for God's sake, it's like this kind of competition that goes on around trying to sort of better each other, and there is just none of that. It's just everybody's just there's a lot of humility. So does that help answer your question?
It does. Thank you very much. That's
brilliant.
Great. Thank you. Thanks.
You're welcome. Jane, you've got your little hand up. Hi.
Hi there. Hi, can you hear me? Sorry, my video wasn't working.
Yeah.
Hi, thanks. Hiya. Thanks for that, Tanya and Nikki and Alison. Question is, I qualified over a year ago and I haven't been practicing at all.
Yeah, we had a couple of those this year. Yeah.
So, I mean, I just sort of packed my full-time job in and, going to give this my all. So I think I've done like obviously with Ion, you've been our lecturer, Tanya, and also I think I've done some sort of thyroid. I did a thyroid 7-hour training thing with you, and the science just bamboozles me. I'm just literally, oh my goodness, I don't get it.
The thyroid one, the thyroid is, it is dense, and that 7-hour course is dense. I mean, it's a really complicated topic, but we don't cover thyroid. Actually, we've only done that about a month ago, isn't that right? Yeah, we did that about a month ago after the summer break. So that also is why it's so important. It's there's been so much thought that's gone into layering this knowledge throughout the year and building your confidence, so that and there is a temptation to go, oh well, I want to know all about how to support menopause, but you've got to kind of, that's why I put those slides up about metabolic reserve, because actually that's when we build our confidence and understand all of those mechanisms, then we can kind of come in at the other components. So yes, there are some lectures that are, and the thyroid, you've chosen that one, is dense, it's quite full on. But remember, it's 11 months, right? And it is, and I talk you, and there's different areas of support, and that's why the Facebook group is very much around there to say, oh my God, Tanya, I kind of switched off by sort of, at the end of that. Can you just go over that again? I just didn't get that.
It's because it's like, my question really is, because I've, I try to keep up with, a bit of research, but I feel like my science knowledge, I feel like I should start my Ion course again and do it all again, because I've forgotten.
No, I will offer you all of that. I will offer you, don't need to do that again. I mean, yeah, so this would be, I'm really not selling it, but this would be perfect, because it will reignite all of those elements that you enjoyed. And you don't need to go back to, and it's like with so many things, you need to sometimes hear it being taught by a different voice in a different way for the penny to drop. So that's kind of why it's been planned in this way. So I think it would be a really good fit for you to build that confidence.
Yeah, it's like starting from scratch and making sure it's like learn, teach it to a child, learn it again, and then you're ready to go. And I feel like I need to sort of deep dive, learn and get everything basic again, to be able to share. And it's just, I'm hoping that this was the right sort of way of doing it without getting, it's too scary or it's too hard,
Yeah. So hopefully,
If I can add something there, Tanya, I think the one thing that I would have done differently, particularly, actually, I found in many ways the more challenging webinars were the first few, for some reason, and maybe it was just for whatever reason it was. The one thing I would have done differently myself in terms of the way that I managed it was I would have probably, because we have every other week, and honestly, it's the most joyful way to spend a Thursday morning, I might add. If you're enjoying the learning in the first place, and most practitioners I speak to almost sort of hark back to their days when they were at college, when they were able to sort of luxuriate in diving into whatever it was that lecture happened to be, or whatever they were focusing on at that time. The one thing I would do differently now is I would probably earmark the following Thursday, the free Thursday, almost as an opportunity to review and use that to consolidate a little bit more. And I don't think you'd need to do it for very long. I think it's just about, it's like exercising any muscle. And within a month or so, you'll feel as though you're sort of much more confident and you're flying and you're enjoying it, even more. But
that's a really good idea, is if you can block that out in your calendar, if you can do that's for everybody, that's a really good, we talk about that on the business side of things in terms of blocking time after appointments to do your write-up, to do your thinking, to do your research, rather than doing back-to-back appointments. But in terms of your learning, that if you can, then blocking out time to kind of go over lectures, and it's also why I didn't do every Thursday, because everybody needs a pause, you need to kind of have that time. So that's really great idea, Alison. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
You're welcome. I don't know who, your name hasn't come up, but somebody has asked, I just started my last year of nutrition, so was wondering whether it could be feasible to do both. Yes, it can. Not this year, but the first year I had a couple of final year students, and it really helped with their revision. Basically, it was just another way of cementing the information in the lectures and with the revision and studying for their final exams. So there isn't homework to do with this course. That is a question that people ask. Remember, it's mentoring, so there's no exam at the end. This is about building your community, your confidence, and cementing your knowledge. And really the goal is for me to make your life easier, and that's why I've given you all of these resources, so that you can, that I've spent hours putting together and getting printed, and they're yours to just put your logo on, because I want you to be able to fly and not spend your time doing that. So it is, but if you're studying, then you can absolutely utilize it as beginning for you to get more ideas about maybe what you might want to specialize in when you've finished, but also it will just really help with cementing your knowledge and your exams. Laura has raised her hand. Laura, hi.
Hi there. Yeah, I think that's kind of sort of answered my question to some extent. I'm kind of coming towards the end of my MSc dissertation, but I am qualified. So I sort of started practicing and then took a year out and then did my dissertation. But I guess my worry is that sort of the first few months of the program is going to be when I'm finishing, and my dissertation also work as well. So it's going to be kind of pretty hectic, and I'm just worried that I won't have the opportunity to kind of invest as much time in it in the first few months, and whether that will then mean it's kind of difficult to then follow, whether I should sort of wait a year and look at it next year.
Okay, so in terms of, I would hate for you to feel overwhelmed, because that's a horrible feeling. So on one hand, it might be better to wait. On the other hand, you're coming from a very broad, from the level that you're at, you're coming from a very solid base. Okay, so, and remember, there isn't really, and remember, there isn't any expectation or need for you to do work outside of the 2.5 hour twice a month lecture.
Yeah.
So I would come to those, it's up until Easter that I would come to that with okay, I'm just going to turn up and just listen to this information being put in a different way. I honestly genuinely don't feel, from what you've said, that you will feel that overwhelm. And there may be some of you that are also considering, do I do this, or do I do the life code 3 months, the life code course? And actually Emma and I both set up our mentor. They're quite different. Well, they're very different. Mine is much longer, but Emma and I work very, very closely together, this life code. And they do really complement each other. Now, obviously, Emma's course runs from January to March. So, and there are some people that did both this year. And it's not, yes, that's a lot of learning, but they do complement each other, because actually, when you're working with clients, if you've got someone's genetics and you really understand a comprehensive blood panel, you are so far ahead of the game. So they do complement each other. But I'm not saying for you not, if there's any of you that are thinking about, I don't want to overcommit, I totally respect that, and you know, you must make your decision on which one you feel is the best priority. But they do really complement each other, would be sort of what I would say. So
Tanya, I did both this year.
You did both this year.
Yeah,
okay.
it was absolutely fine. It was that really, it did complement each other. And actually it made, when we came to look at any of the genetics reports on your course, it made it so much easier.
Because I am a bit of a geek with I mean, I love life code, and Emma and I have the most brilliant working relationship. We share analogies. We're quite similar in that, aren't we, in terms of our analogies. And so a lot of the case studies and the advice that I give, I do sort of help to try and impart that the way that I explain the nutrigenomics to clients. So I do share a lot of that with you guys. So that's that's really great feedback, Alison, that you've done that too.
One thing I would like to add, excuse me, is I've never done a DNA test with a client, so that would be completely new to me. But hey ho, you know, every day's a learning day. One thing I will say is I didn't have the opportunity to put any case studies forwards because of the client base I had. But that's not to say that I didn't learn anything. So a lot of because I specialize in women's hormones, as you can see on the so for me to sit in and listen to some of the case studies was really interesting, and I was still taking an awful lot of notes, even though it wasn't my client, because it was really interesting, because you just learn something. I mean, every client's unique, as we know, but just listening into the case studies alone, and certain areas, you know, wouldn't be, you know, some areas of more interest than others. But at the end of the day, we have to realize that the body works in harmony and unison. It's not a separate entity. But yeah, I think really listening into other people's case studies, and even reading other people's case studies on Facebook. So you might see something and you like, even I copy and pasted. I mean, I know we've still got access and archive and things, but I've even copy and pasted things just to kind of, and put it in a notes section just for me to reread it through and even learn from that. So yeah, you don't always have to be, I just think you just learn so much. It's just amazing. Yeah.
Great. So yes, you also, so you have access to the lectures for 24 months. You have access to the toolkit that doesn't close. The treasure chest doesn't close. You have access to that for 24 months. And the Facebook group is a year, but it's archived. So I just don't, so you still have access to all of the content that has been within the Facebook group for the year. It's just that I don't comment on it after the end of November. Sob. So yes.
Oh, hi. Sorry, I don't I'm
Katie.
on my phone, so I'm not sure if it's showing me up. Okay,
No,
yeah, just a quick question about testing. So do you cover, you know, that there is just so much out there in terms of organic testing, blood testing, all the different panels, all the different stools, you know, in vivo, doctor's data. There's so much to get your head around in terms of testing and which are the best testing,
yes,
you know, which is the best testing to do and the most cost effective as well. Is that something that you talk quite a bit about?
Yes, so organic acid testing actually isn't in the programme at the moment. There might be an opportunity to bring that in, but everything else you've mentioned is talked about. So we have a whole 2 hours with In Vivo, which talk about all of their GI panels, not actually, sorry, all of their microbiome panels, which is gold, because that will give you really great information. We have life code on for 2 hours. We have talk about, we have a whole session on when to test and what medium to test. So we talk about urine, saliva, blood, all around female hormones, which I deliver and I'm very passionate about. So yes, we cover off all of those, and I talk about which labs I use for certain for panels and recommend where you go to.
Brilliant. Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else got any final questions? Okay, so hopefully you found that informative and helpful. We've answered any of your sort of nagging questions. Thank you so much to Alison and Nikki for being amazing and sharing their experience. That's just been incredibly supportive for me. And look out for your email tomorrow, which will be your unique invite before applications go live on Wednesday. And all of those details will be in the email. And you can go on the website, and all of that information, my website, and all of that information is on there now, in terms of the prices. All of the dates and the lectures are on there as well. So the whole curriculum is on there. If you just click down the menu, all of the dates are on there, all of the topics are on there. So everything that you need is on there, but don't hesitate to send an email to admin@tanyaborowski.com if you've got another question. And thank you so much for giving up your rainy Thursday evening. And I hope to see some of you, if not many of you, next year, and welcome you to the tribe. Thank you so much for joining, and I bid you and wish you all a very lovely evening. And you will get the recording of this as well. Have a lovely evening. Thanks, Alison. Thanks, Nikki, again.